This is PBS.
About Your House with Bob Yap was partially underwritten by the National Trust for Historic Preservation.
In past places and future spaces, from main streets to back roads, we're helping Americans bring preservation home. The National Trust for Historic Preservation.
Welcome to today's show, and we call it Old House Recycling. Now, my wife accuses me of not being willing to even tear down an outhouse. That's probably not true. But the fact is that it's really not a good idea to tear down houses unless you absolutely have to. Now, sometimes you have to. There's no question about it. Now, these folks here, they've done a really good job of bringing this neighborhood back together. They've worked hard, and the neighborhood's looking great. But sometimes that old blight, it takes its toll, and there's some ways to deal with it, but it can take its toll. And this is blight, pure and simple. Now, how does all this happen when houses get in this bad a condition? It's what we call slumlords, pure and simple. Now, these are people that buy rental properties, put people into them for exorbitant rents, never put a dime back into the properties, and they end up going back for tax sale, as both of these houses here did. Now, since the values in the neighborhood we were just in have come up and the neighbors care about it, it's only a couple blocks from here, it's quite likely that eventually this property and some other ones around it will be valuable down the road. So what do? We mothball them. And by mothballing, I mean like we rebuilt these columns, bases right here. We rebuilt those so that the porch would be stable. You stabilize the house to keep it from falling down. And you can also put painted styrofoam panels with living room scenes and windows, or do all kinds of fun things to keep them stabilized and make people feel good when they're driving by. But the bottom line is to stabilize the house. It's absolutely critical. Now, there are times when mothballing won't work, a house is too far gone, and you don't have any choice but to tear it down. And these two houses are a perfect example of houses that have to be torn down. They've been termite eaten, completely, totally unrenovatable. No way you could fix them up. All the salvage has been taken out. Now, the Salvage Works of Rock Island is a not-for-profit that works with the city. The city lets them come in and take all the salvage out so that the neighbors can use it again. But sometimes, like I said, they have to come down. Let her rip! Yeah. And then all the salvage ends up right here. Now, this is a converted old YMCA, and it's the gymnasium that we're standing in. And all the trim gets de-nailed and stacked around, and the different light fixtures and the hardware gets separated out. It's not pretty, but it smells great. It's got a dusty wood smell. I kind of like it. Being a not-for-profit is an advantage to you as somebody in the neighborhood that's doing renovation, because getting that material back to you at a lower cost really makes a difference in the cost of your renovation. Look at all the doors down here and all the trim. Here's an old storm screen door. I like this one. And you can even get an old washboard. Another source for great salvage all across America are commercial salvage operations. Now, this nasty old warehouse is Salvage One in Chicago, but inside are treasures you won't even believe. Now, here's my wife, Pat. She's tooling along looking at all these doors. These are pocket doors. They're made out of oak and mahogany, and they've been refinished. You can get them refinished or unrefinished. It doesn't really matter. You can get about anything you want in Salvage One with doors, that's for sure. She liked that one. Now, another thing that you can get at Salvage One are heat grates. They're everywhere, and they're tough to find. I have a hard time finding them for my projects, but they have stamped steel, cast iron, you name it, they have it. A great source for those types of things. Now, fireplace mantle is another big one. I know Pat's looking at fireplace mantles. I know she's going to want to buy one. I hope she doesn't lick that mirror. Oh, Pat! All right, I guess we'll be loading that baby into the truck. Oh, well, it's a nice one. We'll find a place for it, no doubt. I tell you what. Hey, Patty.
Hi there.
I tell you what. Well, now you look all excited.
I just love this place. There's just like a million things to buy and look at. You look tired.
I'm pooped. There's 5 floors.
100,000 square feet of stuff.
I know, it's amazing. I tell you what, though, what's neat about it is that salvage can help make your renovations a lot less expensive and give you really authentic stuff.
And decorating. There's all kinds of wonderful ideas about decorating.
Yeah, you can decorate stuff. I just hate to see buildings come down and end up in a big rubble pile. I hate it.
This kind of salvage is the ultimate big recycling.
It is really big recycling. Hi, Patty.
Hi, Bob. How was the auction?
Well, the auction was great. They had incredible stuff.
What have you got
Well,
there?
I've got something back here.
Well, I want to see.
All right, here it is.
Ooh, I like.
You like that? It's a
Very
little light
nice.
fixture. It's all complete. You know?
How much?
Well, it was $50.
That's a deal.
It's not too bad, huh?
No, great job.
Well, I kind of like it. Something that you need to remember is that there's all kinds of options out there for light fixtures. Now, I'm going to have this one restored, but there's other ways to do it, too.
Well, there are reproductions, and then there were like old antique light fixtures.
Yeah, restored
real ones.
antique ones like this one, which when I met Pat, I saw this and I thought, oh, I fell in love with her immediately.
Well, that's why I bought it.
That's get me to fall in love with you?
No,
well,
no,
tell
no.
us about it.
Well, it's a dining room light fixture. It's 42 inches long, so it's supposed to be over your dining room table. You can't raise or lower it. And it's a sort of a colonial revival, classical motif kind of thing. It's been buffed up and re-lacquered, and it just.
It's a great piece.
I loved it.
This is what they call alabaster, I think, or something like
It's
that.
real thick. It's like a milk glass, and it's etched and all that sort of
It's
stuff.
really beautiful. How much you pay for it?
$1,600.
I'm sorry?
$1,600.
$1,600.
$1,600.
Well, if you shop around a little bit better than she did, you could probably buy it for $1,000 to $1,200. Oh, now she's giving me the big hairy eyeball. Look, there's another fixture in here. Let's go look at that one. It'll be all right.
I don't know about you, Bob.
It's all right. I do love this one right here. This is gorgeous.
It's wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah, 1870s reproduction gas fixture.
Well, I had this Victorian room, and I tried to find an original, and I couldn't, and so I found this reproduction, and I just fell in love with it.
Well, it's gorgeous. How much you pay for that?
$800.
All right. Now, see, with the shades, see, that's half of what you paid for the dining room fixture.
Well, but I liked that. It was different, and so I got a little carried away.
If you like it, that's okay. You know, reproductions are really a good way for you to get light fixtures for your house as well. Now, there's another antique that looks restored
Yes,
here.
now this one was replated. It's not solid brass,
Right.
and then it has the shades that came with it. It's about 1910, 1920, and then there's a companion one, so there's 2 of them. And I thought it looked perfect in the hall.
It's really nice.
I know.
How much?
$200.
Oh, see, now you're talking my language. I love it. Now, I'm going to go get my $50 light fixture I got from the auction.
And what are you going to do?
I'm going to take it down and get it restored because I don't have time.
Okay.
But there's an antique shop I need to stop by on the way for some more
So we're going to get another light fixture?
Well, we might. I have to go look.
Like we need one?
Well, we might. You never know. I'll see you
Bob,
later. Bye-bye.
Be careful.
We're at Riverbend Antiques, just off the Mississippi River, and you're looking at all kinds of stuff for houses, whether it be salvaged materials or whether it be antique furniture. There's a lot of stuff. The reason we're here is because we've talked about restored antique light fixtures. Well, what if you want to restore your own? You want to buy unrestored fixtures? Well, an antique shop or an auction or an estate sale is a great place to go. And in this antique shop, they have lots of neat stuff. Now, here we have all kinds of shades, some newer, some very old, big shades below, smaller ones on top. And over here is a whole display of wall sconces. Now, a wall sconce is a light fixture that fits on the wall like this. Now, here's a neat one. This was originally a gas fixture, fits on the wall here, spins around, has a shade on top of it there. Now, here's an old ceiling gas fixture. You can see the gas cocks on it right here. Neat, it's made out of copper. It's a nice piece as well. Now, down here, we have a couple of outside exterior light fixtures that are cast. Probably went by a front door, and they're really neat. Buff them up, get them black again, they'll look beautiful. Now, these are interior sconces right here, and they're Eastlake in design, that geometric design that you see right here. And they were for oil lamps to hang on a wall. So they have a really great variety here. Oh, look at this thing. This is really neat. This is a late 20s, probably early 30s piece. Some nice detail work on it, copper. They have all kinds of stuff here. And this one right here, I really fell in love with. Now look at this. It's a pan fixture. I'm not sure, I don't have my magnet with me, but you can check to see if it's actually solid brass with a magnet. But look at these square chains. It's really unusual to see that on a pan light. I kind of like it. Now, I've restored a lot of these myself, but this time around I'm too busy, so I'm going to take it and have somebody else restore it for me. Well, I can't put it off anymore. I've been dragging this thing around all day. And this is my neighborhood lighting store, and my good buddy Pat. Pat!
Good morning, Robert.
You're here.
My favorite renovator.
It's good to see you like working.
Yes,
you know?
Thank you. How are you today?
I'm great. What do you
Good
think
to
of
see you.
this?
How about a cup of coffee?
I'd love one.
Well, where'd you find this little
I
treasure?
found it at an auction. I paid $50 for it. You think I got ripped off?
Oh, I don't think so. Of course,
Let's see
that's
how
hard
much
to
of it is
say.
actually brass. Now, if you take a magnet and you put it up to the different parts on one of these lights, you'll find out if it doesn't stick, it's solid brass. So nothing's sticking there. It's not sticking there. We're good there.
Try that chain.
The bell's good. What do you think? The chain?
Yeah.
It's sticking to the chain. All right, what does that mean? That means
That's steel.
Yeah, it's steel.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we buff out the steel chain, and that'll give it a nice contrast to the buffed out lacquered brass. I think that'll
that's
work
a good
out
idea.
nice. And probably rather than this gold cloth chain, I kind of think maybe this brown chain. What do you think?
The silk cord here
to go
is-
with the buffed out iron.
Right.
That'll
It'll look
work.
good.
That'll work. What do you think? What are you going to charge me? $1 bazillion?
No, it isn't that bad. I'd say you're probably going to be around 150. Depending now, you're going to need glass.
We're going to have to get some shades.
Right.
Pick
Depending
some of
on the
those
glass, you could go up to a couple $100.
Okay, so with the $50, I'm at about $250. That's a pretty good deal
Not
for
bad.
a light fixture.
Not bad.
A lot of reproductions cost more than that. What's neat is over here, you guys are making these shades and selling them nationally, I know.
Yes. Here's a nice
But
reproduction
you would literally
here.
make the shades right here.
A lot of the shades we do.
Yeah. Now this is a reproduction floor lamp I just love.
The fringe right now adds a nice touch. That 30s look has been in
On
real
the shade.
strong.
Yeah. But this one over here, now that's what
yes.
I like. That looks like it's out of a bordello or something.
The lady
Isn't that
brought
nice?
this one in for refinishing, rewiring.
For the floor lamp.
Yes.
Okay, you make this?
This shade, well, this is one we purchased out on that one, but it's a style that we do run.
It's great. It's great. So what's this all going to cost to get redone?
Well, you figure a shade around 70, she'll be maybe around 120, $130.
That's a bargain, and that's what I'm trying to get to here, is that if you can go out to auctions and antique shops and places, junk stores, and find the light fixture real inexpensively, you can have beautiful restored lighting in your house. Thanks a lot, Pat.
You're welcome, Bob.
Hey, Al.
Hey, Bob, how's it going?
What are you up to?
Oh, busy as ever.
All right.
Bought you some old faucets here.
Great. Send them down. Let's take a peek. Well, this one looks like something from an old ball and claw tub.
Yeah, it is.
It's got the hot and cold little things on the handles. That'll buff out nice.
Yeah.
That's a good one. And this one's kind of wild, from the 1960s. It's got these little flying handles coming up like that. That's cool. That one will clean up nice, too. You're throwing these away, huh?
Yeah.
But this one, I think, is really neat. Now, it has, look at the stem on that baby. What was that for?
Yeah, that was off of a 3-well sink.
Wow, that's amazing. And some of the chrome's coming off, so that it should buff up to brass pretty easy.
Yeah, I would think so.
That's great. Well, this is Al Spears. He's my plumber. And every time he goes out, he's always looking around. He's tearing stuff out, I know.
Oh, yeah, all the time.
And he brings it over to me because he knows I'm always
Yeah.
interested in this stuff. A lot of the stuff ends up in a dumpster, and I don't
Yeah, it
really
does.
want to see it do that. So I really do appreciate it. What are you up to today?
Well, got to go install a couple hot water heaters, so I'm gonna have
Fun.
All righty.
See you later.
Yep, have a good day
You
now.
bet. Your plumber's a really good source for this type of stuff. And you can go to antique shops and you can go to salvage places, but a plumber is a great source because they're ripping this stuff out all the time. Now, when you have an old fixture and you're starting out, you have to have a buffing wheel, and that's really important, and then you have to put some finish on it. We'll start off with the buffing wheel. You can buy one of these, a 2-arm buffing wheel, for anywhere from $50 to $100 at a hardware store. And this one has 2 wheels on it. This one is a real rough wire wheel, and I use that to take paint off of, old cast iron things like radiator grates and heat grates, stuff like that. Then the other side over here has a cotton buffing wheel, and this one's pretty worn down because we use it a lot. Here's a brand new one, kind of give you an idea. It's real soft, softer than flannel even. That doesn't matter if you don't have buffing compound. Now this is a very fine buffing compound. It's Red Rouge, and this is Tripoli, and it is the second. It is really more of a medium. So I always start with the second, which is the medium, and then go to the fine. Well, let me show you how this works here. Now it's important to wear a double strapped mask, not just one strap, but 2. And you can see I've got this one and this one up here. That's important. Don't wear loose clothes because you don't want to get caught up in this, and you kind of have the safety things off of here in order to get in here. So that's really important too. Let me show you how this buffs up. First of all, look at this. You can see that this is all really tarnished badly.
It's in really bad shape. So let's buff a piece of that up. Put the rouge on. All right. It's not that tough. It really isn't. I'm kind of surprised, you know, when I first started doing this, that it wasn't as hard as it looks. Put this baby down, take my rag, and I'll wipe it off because that buffing compound gets on there. And look at that. Look how shiny that gets. And it really doesn't take a lot of effort to do it. It's a great process. Now the next step in this is that after you get it all buffed out and cleaned up, wiped down clean, then you have to get some finish on it because it'll tarnish quickly if you don't. Now the idea is to try to find an area around here that's out of the way that won't show and put a piece of wire around it and hang it and dip it down into a can of finish. Now that can be a water clear finish. That means that it's as clear as water, conversion varnish. You can use lacquer, but it tends to spot a little bit. Or you could use a water clear polyurethane. Your paint store will have all that for you. Now, here is a piece that was done. This is a piece that's been sitting around finished for quite a while, but it turned out very nice. And I don't like to get them too shiny because then they don't look real. They look brand new. Now over here, we've got all this stuff, and the plumber was to bring them to me, and I'm always scoping out, and there's a nice one with a porcelain handle right there. It says cold on it. And of course, you get the cold and the hots. And also, my favorites, of course, a toilet paper dispenser.
Now, another source for toilet paper dispensers or any other kind of plumbing fixtures are commercial salvage operations like Salvage One in Chicago. They have sinks and bathtubs and faucets. You name it, they have it. I'm in a little shop in the neighborhood I live in Rock Island, Illinois. And I really love this place because it does two things. It doesn't just specialize in salvage, it specializes in salvage and reproduction stuff. And you can see all this hardware coming down here. And look at this great display of kitchen faucets and shower heads and all this stuff. And this is a sink. Now, look at this now. It's all solid brass, beautiful. And you have chrome and all kinds of different choices of fixture styles. But check out this board now. These are authentic reproductions of old ball and claw bathtub fixtures, but they have what we call a gooseneck. That means that they've been turned up so the spigot comes up and the water comes out here above the rim of the ball and claw tub. Now that is required in most municipalities for code today because they want the water coming out above the rim in case the water filled up and that was pouring water down into a filled up tub. Now here's a real reproduction that hasn't been changed at all. It still has a spigot coming down below the rim of the tub. If there was dirty water in the tub, it could possibly get up in here and somebody else in the rest of the house could drink the dirty water. The likelihood of it happening is pretty nil. You could go ahead and put this in yourself, but I guarantee that a plumber, a licensed plumber, will not put those in. It's probably a better idea to go with the goosenecks anyway. Now all over here you have sinks, reproduction sinks, you have authentic marble antique sinks, newer ball and claw tubs, old ball and claw tubs. If your neighborhood doesn't have a little shop like this, somebody's neighborhood does. You should go find one because they're really a lot of fun. Well, once you found all the different plumbing fixtures that you want, all the antique stuff, well, here's one I got at Salvage One. It's kind of neat. It's kind of like this one, actually. Well, they're a little bit different. But once you found them and you buffed them out and you put all the finish on them, then you have to repair them because they leak like sieves, and the old washers inside, they get really crumbly and dry out and they're no good anymore. So you got to get inside of this. Now, in order to get inside of it, you need some tools. Now, here's an adjustable wrench right here. Everybody's seen one of those. That's good for those big nuts on these fixtures. And here's a pair of adjustable pliers. We call them channel locks, but they're really good. I use those a lot for this. A couple of screwdrivers, some household oil to kind of oil things up to get them working smooth, and the rag. And the rag's important because these nuts right here, if you don't put a rag over here, remember brass is soft. If you don't put a rag over here, what happens is that you're going to get all these marks on the nut, and you don't want to do that. Now I'm going to try to loosen this up, see if we can get to that washer. All right, here we go. All right, there we go. I think I can loosen that by hand. Yeah, it's coming right off. All right. Now pull it out, and the washer not only is bad, it doesn't exist. It's supposed to be right there. It's gone. And here's the screw that holds it on, right there. I'll take that off. Now we need to put a washer on it. All right.
Now here are the washers. Now, you can buy these at the hardware store. They're inexpensive. I keep them around because I mess with this stuff a lot. Or landlords sometimes have them for their properties because they have old fixtures and that type of a thing. I'm going to try to find the right one in here. Let's see if this one will do the job. All right, now pick that up. Remember, it's got a seat down in there. Nope, it's too big, doggone it. All right, let's see if this one looks pretty good. Notice something, though. It's conical shaped. All around there, it looks like a cone on the top, and that's what helps it seat when you're shutting off the water. Now, let me see if I switch this. Yeah, that's good. Now, here's that screw. Remember, the screw holds it on. There, okay. Screw that in by hand, and give it a little bit of a snug because you don't want it flopping around in there at all. Now let's put it back together. All right. They thread together pretty well, and when you get it down there, you want to hand tighten it, and then get your little rag again. Put that over there. Really snug it down. Okay, that's good. Now let's see if it works good. Oh yeah, it's seating down. That will not leak now, I promise you. Now there's lots of different things that you can use the buffing wheel that we talked about on. You can use light fixtures. Well, and here's a doorknob and an escutcheon plate for a door. Either one of those you can use for the buffing wheel. It has all kinds of uses. It's a lot of fun. This is a great way to save money on your renovations, and it also gives a lot of authenticity to them. Have fun. Want to blow the budget on this thing. We need to. I can't afford to buy a tub for $1,500.
I think you're insane. There's
the
no
ball
way
and claw
we can
tubs,
do it.
brand new, cost too much money. Look at this.
We can't.
Look what
do
I found.
It. Look at it.
I know, it's gorgeous, man.
It's rusted.
No, the rust will come off. About $50 to sandblast it. It'll be great.
No way.
Trust me, Phil. Now, what I think we ought to do is turn it over and look at the inside and see how beautiful that looks.
I don't know.
You ready? Look at these nice feet too. You see? Here?
Nice and rusted.
Oh yeah. Right. Okay.
Ready?
1, 2, 3. Oh, jeez. Ah. There we go. Oh, yeah.
She's a beauty.
No. She's a beauty.
No way.
Trust me.
No way.
You're going to love it.
Look at that.
The bottom line here, Phil, is this. I'm going to take you over right now and show you one that looked 10 times worse than what it looks like now. Oh, so Phil said I was crazy. It couldn't be done. This tub really was worse than the other one, and it turned out great. I'm really, really happy with the finish. He hasn't seen it yet, so I'm going to really rub it in when I see him. Now, how this is done. First, they come into your house, and they do it right in the bathroom. They mask everything off. They have ventilation, so you aren't sucking fumes, and that's good. Then they clean the tub all up. They etch it with some etching solution, and they fill all the nicks and the little cracks and stuff up so it has a nice smooth surface. Then they'll spray it with a urethane or a epoxy-based finish, get a nice finish on it, put multiple coats on, but the most important part of this is the infrared lighting that they use to bake the finish on. They'll have that on here for several hours. It helps cure the finish. It's still going to take another couple days to get the finish cured just so you can't take a bath yet. Now, the process is pretty simple, it works well, and it sure makes an old bathtub look great. Oh, I knew there was something I almost forgot. Now, the ball and claw tub that was refinished that we just looked at is great for laying and taking a great leisurely bath. And I don't know about you, but I love to take a shower. In fact, I know a lot of you do too. And here's a ball and claw tub outfit with a shower curtain, beautiful old shower curtain. You can get them in all different kinds. Open it up. Bingo, you have a shower. It's an old Victorian shower head system. It's a ring, hooks up to the wall. It's got the big head on it over here, and it's a reproduction of an original one. Now, you can get them with pressure-balanced faucets so that you don't scald yourself. You can even get them in brass. It's all polished. This one happens to be chrome. They're really beautiful, and they work. They're really watertight if you set it up right. Or you can go to a salvage operation or an antique shop and get one of these old ones. This has the head built right into the ring itself. Needs a little bit of work, but it's not in bad shape. They really do work nice. I mean, taking a bath is great. I like taking a bath once in a while, but I really like taking a shower. And these babies really do work. There's one thing I know about renovations, and that's that we all want to do quality work to our houses, that's for sure. But we also want to save a couple of bucks when we can, and salvage materials will get you right to that point, saving some money. Thanks for spending some time with me today. I'm Bob Yap.
about your house.
About Your House with Bob Yap was partially underwritten by the National Trust for Historic Preservation.
In past places and future spaces, from main streets to back roads, we're helping Americans bring preservation home. The National Trust for Historic Preservation.